Hey, Dr. Taylor coming at you with a week 2 announcement. Gonna do it a little bit different this week. Usually I record a full announcement for you. I talk about some of the topics we're doing and assignments necessarily, what's going on with the assignments and some key points like that. But this week I want to do something different. I'm gonna shift over to a video that I recorded probably 2 or 3 quarters ago, talking about how I give feedback, why I give feedback, and the ways I give feedback. Because I think that that's really important to understand in the first couple weeks of class, to understand how we're doing the feedback and why it really matters, right? And for that matter, what happens if you ignore the feedback could be pretty important for you too, all right? Now, unique things to this quarter's class. So far, you've all done a great job. You're all jumping in, you're all participating the way you should. Make sure you pay attention to your due dates. And most importantly, if you have questions or you don't understand how to do something, make sure and ask me. It's what I'm here for, is to help you be successful, all right? So let's get to the video all about feedback. So one of the things that I think it's really important to understand is how you receive feedback and why you receive the feedback or the type of feedback you receive. So first, how do you receive feedback? Well, I give feedback in at least 3, if not 4 different ways, really, if you think about it. So the first way is I certainly give you your grade. Your grade is feedback. Okay, I give you the rubric, and in the rubric I mark things down and I put comments. And so each assignment, each discussion, whatever it is, you need to be reading that rubric. So as you go in, you'll see that the rubric is marked in certain areas, and you need to read what those rubric areas say, and then you go down and read the comments. And then third, I give you feedback within your paper, for instance, right? So if it's a regular assignment, then I give you feedback live in the paper, and you need to go read those comments and understand what those comments are. Because if you ignore the feedback that I put in the paper or the feedback that I write into the rubric, then that's just going to hurt you as you keep going, because I will continue to get harder and harder about how I grade on that. It's as simple as it is. Fourth, technically, another way you receive feedback is my interaction in the discussion room. If I ask you a question, for instance, I'm not usually asking a question just because I'm bored. I'm asking a question because maybe you didn't quite get the concept and I want you to dig a little deeper. Maybe you didn't answer all the questions and I'm trying to get you to complete it so I don't have to grade you down. Believe it or not, I really do not like grading people down. Or maybe I'm trying to highlight an entire concept that I know people in these classes struggle with, and therefore I'm trying to get you to have a discussion about it and incorporate the rest of the class, which is why it is important for the rest of the class to read my postings also. So really important, not to mention watching these videos, which it's kind of funny. Very few people are watching these videos sometimes, but if you watch them, you get some good information to help you. Now, why do I give the type of feedback I give? Let me talk about that a little bit. A lot of people tend to, or not a lot of people, some people tend to rebel a little bit on my feedback being as direct as it is occasionally. And that's okay. It really is, because I understand. I mean, people put their ego in front of their ability to learn often. And I mean that. They really do. Myself included at points in my life. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But I believe that it is more important for me to be direct and honest with you about where you need to grow, what you're not doing correctly, than to tell you how wonderful you are. I mean, really, honestly, it's a little bit of a balance, but if I just told you how wonderful you are, or I just marked the paper and said, great job, what did you really learn and what skill are you developing? Nothing. I mean, really, you're not developing anything. And I can guarantee there isn't a student that comes into my class, not one student comes into my class, that cannot learn how to be a better writer, for instance. Okay, so I mean, it's one of those things that you got to understand. Now, let me share this story with you. When I talk about putting ego in front of learning. So, as you know, if you paid attention to my bio, my little video resume, I have quite the educational experience, or the educational vitae, if you will. So, I did my CRIM-J degree undergraduate, did my business management, I got into my adult education, then clinical psychology, and then master's in IO psychology, and then doctorate in IO psychology, and then my postgrad in higher teaching, or higher education teaching. So all that education, okay? Well, here's the funny thing, okay? Even as a 9th grade dropout, in my CRIM-J, my business management, adult education, clinical, I was always praised by almost all of my teachers, sans maybe one, all of my teachers for being a great writer and really having the ability to academically write, to properly, put pen to paper and well, typewriter, all right, but make things, professional and appropriate and format and all these things, right? So I was always praised as being a great writer. So I get into my master's in industrial organizational psychology, my very first class. I write one of the papers for that class, and the teacher just eats it alive, the professor rather. She eats it alive. I mean, I get it back and it's marked up 50 ways from Sunday, and I'm like, whoa, really? Do you not know who I am? Do you not know what a great writer I am? I mean, that's honestly the kind of stuff that goes through our brain, right? And I'm like, okay, what the heck? I mean, I looked at it and I said, you know what? She's one of those. She's just one of those. And in being one of those, I'm just not going to make her happy. So the heck with it, finish this class and move on. Now, we all do that. Matter of fact, many people have looked at me and said, oh, he's one of those. He's just really difficult. Well, I am difficult, but for reason. All right. I'm not difficult for just difficulty's sake. So here's the deal. As I go along through here, I finish my master's degree, move into my doctorate, and now I'm all the way down to residencies. And you think about this, that's years, all right? So, I mean, I think in between there's probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. So here I am, residency, second one. And I get my notification of who my supervising or attending is, and it's Dr. Nancy Piotrowski. And I think to myself, God, I know that name. It's her. It's her. Wow. So I went back and pulled the paper. Not like I hold on to things, huh? But I went back and pulled the paper and I read through it. And what really angered me when I read through it was every single comment was spot on. She was right about every single correction she put in there. And, I went to her during my residency. I said, hey, you probably don't remember me. She goes, no, I remember you. Wonderful. I don't know if that was good or bad. I mean, we have a great relationship, but I mean, I don't know if that was good or bad that she remembered me really though. And I explained to her, I told her, look, I mean, here's the thing. I took real offense to this. I pulled the paper out, I read it again. Oh my gosh, you were right. And she looked at me and she said something really, really great. And she said, you were a great writer when you came into my class, but you weren't writing where you should be. You could be a better writer. And I appreciated that. See, that was the point is Dr. Piotrowski taught me something really important. And that was simply that no matter how great a person or how great a skill set you have, no matter how great you are at this or that, you can always be better. And if we constantly just tell people how great they are, they'll never challenge themselves to be better. And they'll never sharpen that edge the way they really should. So it's one of those things, understand that feedback serves very specific purposes. Feedback is not there to make you feel good about yourself. Feedback is there to help you grow. Sometimes we like to make you feel good a little bit too, but it's there to help you grow, all right? And that's the main reason we give the feedback. Start using it. Use the feedback that is provided to you. Read through your actual rubric gradings. Read through your documents. Listen to what I'm telling you. And if you have questions, always ask. As always, Dr. Taylor, thanks, and let me know if you have any questions.